Welcome to another Soaring video. In this flight adventure I'm going to try and emulate a real-world gliding task. This gliding task was flown by Bruno Vassal on August 5th, 2017. It was a 100-kilometer triangle speed challenge. Bruno was trying to beat the state record for the 100-kilometer triangle in his ASW 27B glider. I'll provide a link below this video and in my blog to Bruno Vassal's YouTube channel and to the specific video of the flight that this task is based on. So I'm flying an Schleicher ASW 27B, a 15-meter high-performance racing glider. This particular model for FSX and P3D is from Wolfgang Piper's collection of freeware gliders. This particular model is fitted with the B21 instrument panel, which is by Ian Forster Lewis. And we'll have a look at the instruments in a little minute, but just going to check the control surfaces and air brakes are working. Okay, let's just hop aboard and quick look at the instruments. Quite a comprehensive list of instruments on the B21 panel. The main distinction with the B21 panel is the electronic vario, which is in the bottom row towards the left there, that yellow needle. That instrument is both an electronic vario and a speed to fly, depending on the switch just to the top left of it. We can adjust that as we wish. The digital readout at the top of the display of that instrument is the expected arrival height at the next waypoint. The digital readout just to the right of center on that instrument is the current McCready setting, actually, which I'll bump up a bit to at least 4. What I'm saying there in effect is I don't really want to climb thermals less than 4 knots. In fact, I'm hoping to hit thermals closer to 6 knots today if I'm going to get anywhere near Bruno's average speed for this task. The digital readout at the bottom of that instrument is the vario, is the climb rate, if you like, or sink rate, as the case may be. Right at the top of the panel there is a GPS with the task loaded, but it is a little bit misleading because it assumes standard BGA turn cylinders of 500 meter radius cylinders for each turn point, and in fact we're not using that today. We're using turn segments, symmetrical segments, so that we're forced to actually round the turn points rather than just get within 500 meters of the turn point. That makes sure that we do cover the 100-kilometer distance. So I'll be relying on the Top Hat glide computer, which is running on a Surface tablet in front of me. We could just have a quick look at that now, I guess. I'll just acknowledge the airspace there for the airfield on the moving map display. The left column, the first information box at the top is the final arrival height, assuming a McCready setting of 0. So we'd be using a speed to fly, basically a safety speed to fly to get home. So it's not really relevant to today's task. And it's certainly at the moment it's a bit irrelevant on the ground, so we're not flying yet. The next information box down from that is the optimum speed to fly for dolphining. So it's looking at the sink the sink rate or the climb rate of our glider at any point in time, and it's working out what our optimum speed should be. Don't use that all that much. It's sometimes useful. If I'm totally confused about what speed I should be doing. There's so many caveats to the speed you should fly. Below that is the altitude from the GPS. That is of great interest to me because I have to be careful about my start height and my finish height. I'll be starting today at or below 13,500 feet, and to qualify for this speed challenge I can only lose 1,000 meters overall on the task, so I have to cross the finish line within 1,000 meters of that height. So I think that's about round about, I think from memory it's 10,300 feet or thereabouts roughly I'll be aiming for. So I want to be above that. The bottom information box is the AGL, height AGL above ground level. Useful for safety reasons and for tactics of when you should take a climb or not. On the right hand column, the information box is at the top of there. I've got the true airspeed. That's critical to me today because I want to cross the start line as close as I can to V&E speed at 13,500 feet. So I need to know the true airspeed for that. I think it's about 120 knots from memory indicated, which is 151 knots true airspeed. The ground speed is also of interest to me, which is the next one down, because that's the speed, my task speed, if you like, instantaneous task speed, compensated for the wind. So, yeah, quite interesting to know that. The box below that shows the estimated McCready setting. I've set it's in auto mode at the moment. So it starts off with a prediction of 3.3 knots. So it's saying basically climb thermals at 3.3 or above knots. Well, that's the next expected thermal, but that will go up as we hit better thermals. Hopefully that will get higher, that number. And based on that number, is just below it is the speed, the interthermal speed, recommended interthermal speed. So there it's saying that at the current rated load of my glider, payload, and given the polar of this glider, I should be flying at about around 99 knots indicated between thermals. But there's other caveats to that too. So it's only sort of a rough guide. Below that is my average task speed so far, which of course is showing nothing at the moment because we've not started the task yet. If we have a look at the task, these are my waypoints on the left here. You can see it's a racing task. It's got a start height of 13,501 feet above mean sea level. The finish height of 10,220 feet above mean sea level. But that would be cutting it fine. I'll try to aim for about a bit over that, a safety margin over that, to keep within the rules of this task. Start line, I've set the start line width arbitrarily to 10 kilometres wide. I'm not sure what Bruno was using. Each of my turn points are symmetrical quadrants, and the finish line is a 1 kilometre wide finish gate. So if we just back from there, there's a summary of the task and an overview on the map, on the terrain map of the task. You can see it's a triangle. The start box is shown clearly there at the top. We sort of head south and initially, and then come across to the west, and then we go back northeast to the finish line. And as it says, the distance is 100 kilometres. So that's it basically. I've set the wind manually because Top Hat, which is a derivative by the way of XC-SAW, of the XC-SAW glide computer, because Top Hat cannot read the wind directly from the flight sim. I've put the wind in manually. I put an estimate for the upper level winds where I'll be flying of 10 knots from 305. That may not be accurate. We'll have to see when we get up there. Okay, coming back to the glider now. We're flying, by the way, in Prepared version 4. My lower level clouds, I'm not using any clouds from Prepared for the lower level clouds. I'm using just the Cumulus X clouds today. I'm just trying to deal with some performance issues at the moment in Prepared. I haven't got it properly tuned yet. It's all a bit new to me. I've been flying in Steam Edition FSX for quite a long time. And X-Plane 11, so still getting used to Prepared. The cirrus clouds up there are the Prepared clouds, but they don't have any bearing on the task, really. They're just there for aesthetic reasons. The weather, I'll have all my weather settings in my blog, but basically I downloaded the historical weather for the 5th of August 2017 in Active Sky 2016. I was going to fly it using Active Sky connected to Prepared, but that caused some issues with wind shear. I'm not sure that some of the wind shear and upper level winds were entirely correct in the historical weather. They looked a bit odd to me, but it could be right. But I've decided to cheat a bit and reproduce the weather manually in Prepared. based on the weather data in active sky. And I've adjusted those upper level winds so there's not so much wind shear. But tried to keep the wind strengths and general direction of the wind about the same. I also, what else did I do? Let's think. Did I modify? Oh yes, I modified the visibility. When I looked at Bruno's, I shouldn't keep bobbing my head around, should I? It's very disconcerting for YouTube viewers when you've got track IR, or maybe I should freeze track IR while I'm talking. Yeah, when I looked at Bruno's video, and I urge you to definitely have a look at his video. It's very entertaining and very instructional. In fact, all of his videos are good. Highly recommended. But when I looked at his video of this task, he was experiencing quite a lot of smoke haze. So I've set the visibility down to, that didn't appear in the meta data, so that Active Sky downloaded. So I've added that in as, I've set 30 statute miles for the visibility. Not sure if that's, enough. Maybe I should have set it to 20 or so, I'm not sure. We'll see when we get up to the typical sort of task cruise height. We've got a full load of ballast, so we're at full payload today. 500 kilograms. That's just to try and keep our cruise speed up. If we've got any hope of trying to get anywhere near what the speed that Bruno achieved, we've got to try something. This is a flap glider. Let's just bring the camera down a bit. You'll see the flap settings there. There's the usual positive flap settings. The T is the thermal position. You'll see me using that a lot. Flaps 2 and 1 I use left often. I will be using flaps 1 for takeoff today because this glider has a tendency in the sim to drop the left wing during the takeoff roll when you don't have a lot of aileron authority. So I'm hoping to get a little bit more lift under the wings early on to keep that wing up. I'll go to flap 0s once I get off the ground. There is a landing flap position, but I very rarely use that, except maybe if I have to land out somewhere in a short field with a steep approach over obstacles or something like that. The problem with the landing flap position in the sim is generally it causes the glider to float too much when you flare. So yeah, I actually prefer to land with about the spoilers about half extended and with flaps 1. That's how I prefer to touch down anyway. Now this glider, being a high performance racing glider, is also fitted with a negative flap position. So if I just hop outside and have a look at the flaps at the moment, that's in flap 0 at the moment, and there's the usual flap positive flap positions. But if I go up into the flap negative position, you can see the flap kicks up above the wing. Now my understanding of that, what it's doing, it's killing some of the lift on the wings and thereby reducing drag. Apparently these high performance gliders at high speeds produce too much lift and therefore too much drag. So that's what that's about. Now, is that properly modelled in the sim? I'm not really 100% sure, but I do find the negative flap position is quite beneficial for trimming the glider at high speeds. On the other hand, the manual says I really, for performance reasons, I should only be going to negative flaps at full rated payload at 112 knots or above. So in fact, I find it beneficial to go to negative flaps around 80 or 90 knots just to help me with the trimming of the glider. So am I penalising myself performance-wise? I'm not really sure. I'd have to do a lot of testing. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about the flaps. I'll just put them into the flap 1 position. There is a digital readout, by the way, just down there in the sort of bottom left corner of the panel. You can just see the +1 there, just to help you when you're flying. The real glider I don't think would have such a thing. I'm not sure, but certainly handy in the sim. But we should release the track IR and reset everything. Right, the radio, I think the radio frequencies are set to the local frequencies here, but we won't be using that today. The moving map display on the panel there is next to use. That's too small to be useful. Could turn it off, but I'll leave it on. Speed to fly switch is in the speed to fly position at the moment. I might leave it there for now. Decide later on whether I want to adjust that. There's an issue with the altimeter. If I set the altimeter, I'll just do that now. Just excuse me if I spin around here and cheat a bit here. I've just set the altimeter to the barometric pressure. You'll see it's reading low, so it's a faulty altimeter. Needs to be changed out for a new one. But yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if it'll improve when we get to higher altitudes or not. But anyway, I've got that digital readout on the top hat computer in front of me, so I'll rely on that for my heights today. Could be a bug in this glider, I guess. Should ask the other club members about that, whether they see that problem or not. Wind is more or less dead ahead on the runway here. It will back a little as we get higher, a little bit more to the northwest, and strengthen a bit too as we get higher. The runway's clear. I will trim down a little bit for the takeoff. Flaps, as I said, are on flaps 1 for takeoff. Canopy's closed and locked. The air brakes are closed and locked. All of my controls are free. I think we can call up the tow plane. Oh, I should mention too, we're going to aero tow to 9,000 feet MSL, unless we encounter a strong thermal on the tow, in which case I might release early. But we'll be using a left-hand circuit departure initially, and then my tug will attempt to find a thermal if there's any close enough to the airfield. So let's see how we go. Just going to put the cable on. Cable's on. Wings are level. Okay, taking up slack. All out, all out. There's that wing drop. I'm just trying to hold it up. Okay, got it. The nose will dip as the elevator gets more effect. Try and stay down a bit until the tug gets up. I prefer a high toe position, a low toe position, just the way I was taught to. I need to trim down a bit, and I need to go to flap 0 and re-trim again. Now he's going to turn onto crosswind shortly. I hope. There he goes. So now we're on the left-hand crosswind. Shortly he will turn downwind. We're using the Cumulus X Smart Toe feature today, obviously. Now he will attempt to find a thermal. May not be able to do that. What I should have done is, I'm just going to pause for a minute. If I can find the pause button. Okay, I'm just going to get rid of the menus, have a full screen display. Should have done that before. Sorry about that. Okay, just reset everything. Pause. So I'm just using the rudder pedals to basically stay on station more than the ailerons. Use the ailerons in the turn. The glider does tend to, what do you call it, wind vane a bit in the wind, so when it's on tow. Yeah, so the Cumulus X clouds look a bit Mickey Mouse, don't they? But can't help that. I can't change the textures of those clouds. When you combine them with FSX or prepared clouds, you can disguise them a bit. They don't look so bad. Didn't want to do that today for performance reasons. Plus it helps me a little bit to find the thermals, because I really can't afford to miss a thermal today. If I'm going to have any chance of getting this speed challenge done. The speed I'm aiming for is around 100 miles per hour. Not sure what that is in knots. I do have a readout on the in the info boxes on the on Top Hat, which gives me the task speed in miles per hour, so I can keep a check on it as we're going along. In the cruises it will get higher, and hopefully, and then in the when I stop to climb, it'll drop, obviously. So. Now we're getting close to our launch release height at 9,000 feet MSL. So he's clear on the left, I'm clear on the right. Just check it again. Not that there should be any other aircraft today. Okay, cable gone. He's going left, I'm going right. Gear up. Flaps are in zero. We'll just retrim and look for a thermal. Now this is going to be a rather tedious climb up to start height, so I think I should, wonder if I could get under that cloud. I will, I think I'll cut the video here and rejoin later when I'm up at the height I want to be at to make my run at the start line. Otherwise the video will be unnecessarily long. Okay, we're just above 15,000 feet and I'm heading for the start box now. As I said before, I'm going to try and start at 13,500 or below, and as fast as I can possibly go without ripping the wings off or getting control flutter or anything. Not that I think control flutter's modelled in the sim, but so I need to speed up a bit and lose some height. I'll put the flaps into the negative position and see if I can lose some height. I'm actually in a thermal, I think. So I'm too high to cross the start line. I'm probably going to have to turn away from the start line for a bit, lose some more height. That's the ridge line we'll be running down along on the first leg. As you can see, it is quite hazy today. Hopefully I've replicated that properly. It's only a cosmetic thing anyway, just to try and make it more realistic. That's possible. Okay, we're at 14.5. We'll turn away from the line and come around to the line. Not losing much height, am I? Trim down a bit. Not too much though. Okay, we're below 13.5 now. Okay, we're on task. Whoop, too fast. Not watching what I'm doing. Might just put that back to Vario. Rather than speed to flight. I hit a thermal here. That looks like a thermal. Uh-oh. Come out of the thermal. We'll just keep going around till we catch it again. We're averaging nearly 5.5 knots. Not sure if that's fast enough. It's getting stronger. It's over 6 knots now. Seven knots. Might stay with this one. Having a few performance issues. Bit of stutter, especially when I pan around. Average climb rate's now dropped to 6 knots. I might trim up a bit, slow down a bit, try and tuck in a bit tighter. It's better, I think. 6.8. Just went through 15,000 feet. Uh-oh, what have I done? Been a wind change or something? Or have I lost it? Do a wind correction here. Climbing at 6 knots at the moment. Falling again. This will be the last time around at 16,000 feet. Come out to cloud base, so we need to speed up. Okay, negative flaps. Whoops, another thermal. Just dolphin through it. Okay, now we've got our task speed at the moment is 51 miles per hour, so half what we wanted, so we're going to have to curve along a bit. Doing about 148 knots true airspeed at the moment. Whoa, 151 needs to slow down. Task speed's up to 60 miles per hour now. Ground speed's 153 knots. So I've got a slight tailwind. It's more of a cross wind from the right. A little bit too fast. Slow down a bit. .70 miles per hour average speed now for the task. Our target, remember, is 100, so we've got a bit to make up. .80 miles per hour average task speed now. Ground speed's 150 knots. too fast. Oh, it's a thermal. Lost it. Did I turn the wrong way? It's an 8 knotter, so it's a good one. Nine knots now, nearly. 8.9 anyway. Losing it. Okay, I'm going to have to pull out. Coming up to cloud base. Coming up to our turn point. Only got a kilometre to go. Okay. Around that turn point. Heading for the next one. Average task speed 78 miles per hour. We need to get that up. Two clouds ahead. too slow, need to speed up a bit. There's 22 kilometres to the next waypoint. See any lift under that cloud. Try and catch it under this one. Not fast enough now. Too fast. Average speed is 90 miles per hour now. Just have thermal. No. Yes. Uh-oh. Don't like it. I think I'll carry on. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, lost it. Where is it? Come on. Darn. Where are you? This is bad. Oh no. I've lost it again. I gotta give up on this one. No. Time to head for the waypoint. So I dropped my average speed to 82 there, miles per hour. slow it down a bit. I've got some speed to make up. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Is that a... No. Thought I had a thermal there for a minute. Average task speed's 90 miles per hour now. Approaching the waypoint. Okay, that's the waypoint. On the home run now. Good to keep to windward of these clouds and hope we'll pick up some more lift on the home run. I think we need one more climb. I need one more good thermal. .95 miles per hour is my average task speed now. Can I pick up the lift on that cloud up there? that the lift? No. Damn. Maybe we'll catch it on those clouds there. Not above the arrival height I need, so I'm in trouble here. Task speed's now 98 miles per hour, but I need to climb. .99 miles per hour. Better slow up a bit or I'll miss it. No. Come on, there must be a thermal here somewhere. What's that? Is it strong enough? Looks like I turned the wrong way. It's 5.96. Is that good enough? Oh no, it's weakening again. I've got to get above final glide. Seven knots. And I'm losing my average speed now. Uh-oh. Oh, come on. Okay, I think we're above final glide now, I think. I'll go around once more just in case. Climbing at 6.5 knots. Okay. Let's get rocking and rolling. I can't fly too fast or I'll end up too low, so I've got to be careful here. Careful of my arrival height. Should put it on speed to fly. Not flying fast enough. Ground speed's only 105 knots. Although I might just make it. Keep your fingers crossed. $14K to go. Doesn't look like I'm going to have any dolphin opportunities. Looks like my arrival height will be about 10,800 or so. If I maintain this speed. But I don't think I'm going to have a high enough average. Ground speed's only 107 knots. Getting off course. I think I'm going to just fall short. Just nose down a tiny bit. task achieved. I'm not sure what that is on the final glide there. It's showing 99 miles per hour. That would suggest I'm a bit slow. Just take a little bit more speed, I think. I've got to stay above finish height, that's the thing. Well, my terrain clearance isn't going to be too good here. Four kilometres to go. Yeah, I think I'm going to be too slow. My ground speed's 114 knots. Oh, I got some lift. I'll speed up a little bit. About 1 kilometre. Just going to clear this ridge. Okay, task complete. Okay, let's drop the water ballast. We're in a thermal now. Head for the airfield. Yeah, task speed was only 96 miles per hour. So, yeah, I didn't do as well as Bruno. That's according to Top Hat anyway. I'll check the log file in CU, but that won't be far off. It'll be around 96, 97 miles per hour. So I'm about 4 miles per hour under the state speed record. Or just speed up a bit to get to the airfield. So yeah, a couple of those thermals, I lost them on the first turn. You just can't afford to do that when you're doing a speed test. You've got to nail those thermals right from the get-go and stay in them. Unless they're a weak thermal, in which case you've got to move on quickly to the next one. I guess that's the township of Nephi down there. That's our airfield at 11 o'clock. Well, we had to go at it. What do I do? I stop for 4 thermals, I think. One of which was a bad one. A waste of time one. So, I think the only way I could have made up more time on that would have been to have nailed the thermals a little more accurately when I was entering them. So we'll go upwind to the airfield and then join the left-hand downwind. We've got plenty of height. Got to speed up a bit and get there quicker. About 5,000 feet AGL at the moment, so I need to lose more height. Could pull the spoilers, we don't need to just yet. Water ballast should be empty by now. Our airfield down there. It's still a bit high. So step out fair way from the airfield, there's plenty of room to lose this height. Not even darn thermal again, am I? Don't need any thermals now. Should get the wheel down. Spoilers halfway out. Start getting our speed or approach speed. go for flaps 1. Oh. Wind looks good, 6 knots down the runway. A bit more spoilers. Okay, we're down. We'll just pull off to the right, clear the runway. I don't hear the wheel rattling on the grass, but never mind. Got a bit of a sound problem there. Okay, we're down. Now we've got to save our log file. We'll check that in CU later and see what it comes up with. But yeah, according to my stats on Top Hat, I averaged 96 miles per hour over that distance. So not as good as Bruno, not unexpected. It certainly was stressful trying to maintain that average, particularly on those last 2 legs. I could really see I was losing it. It was really, I think, that third thermal was my undoing on the second leg. I think the second leg one halfway down the second leg. wasn't working out at all well. I lost a lot of ground there trying to climb that in time. So yeah, that's the way it goes. Could try and do it a few more times. Maybe I could improve on that speed. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching.